Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really profound. We're going to be decoding a framework that completely reframes how we look at our absolute darkest moments. Our goal here is to really explain the wisdom behind what sounds like a pretty radical idea, which is this: what feels like ultimate destruction in your life is actually a highly strategic setup. So let's unpack exactly how this text views pain, isolation, and ultimately triumph. What if your deepest betrayal was actually a setup for your greatest blessing? I know, it's a super provocative thought, right? But the text we're analyzing today doesn't shy away from this. It acknowledges the sharp, very real sting of betrayal right out of the gate. It points out that life rarely breaks you with a loud crash. No, it usually breaks you in total silence, often through a betrayal that just cuts deeper than any blade ever could. And why? Because it doesn't come from strangers, it comes from the people closest to your heart. It completely shakes your trust in people, in yourself, and in your entire path. But, as we'll see, our text challenges us to look at this painful shock through a totally different lens. So, let's jump into part one: betrayal as a setup, entering the thorny forest of subtraction. You see, when betrayal comes from the very people we trusted the most, our basic instinctual human reaction is to view that loss as a punishment. When people walk out of our lives, we feel penalized, right? Or just totally abandoned. But the source introduces this massive paradigm shift. It reframes this subtraction as preparation. The text explains that what feels like a completely devastating loss is actually a divine clearing of space. Think about it. Certain people are allowed to walk away so that room can actually be made for your real purpose. It's absolutely crucial to understand this. It isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to redirect you. And the text uses this absolutely fascinating metaphor here. It says, they thought they were burying you, but they were planting you. It points to historical examples like Judas betraying Jesus, noting that betrayal often isn't just some random accident. It's a catalyst. It fulfills a destiny rather than stopping it. And the exact same logic applies to your own experience, because being planted means you don't stay buried, you grow. Now sure, that growth is slow, it's silent, and it's steady, but it eventually rises up, far stronger and more fruitful than ever before. The whole framework here suggests that the betrayal didn't break you, it birthed you. This brings us to part two: the silent season, the quiet winter of refinement. Once the chaos and the noise of that initial betrayal finally fade into the still, kind of isolated landscape, the text breaks this hidden season down into three totally necessary steps. First up, distractions are removed. This silences the noise so you can finally hear a divine whisper without all the static and interference. Second, your character is tested in solitude. This is where you literally learn to walk away from tables where you were once the meal, and you stop relying on the applause of a crowd. And third, the vessel is strengthened for the blessing. Because before a massive public blessing can be revealed, the vessel carrying it has to be built. The logic is just rock solid here. You simply cannot carry a huge public calling if you have a private weakness. If you've ever felt completely forgotten during a quiet season in your life, well, the text totally validates that experience. It points out this historic pattern of hidden preparation. I mean, look at the legends. David hidden away tending sheep before he ever faced Goliath. Joseph sitting in a prison cell before ruling Egypt. Jesus out in the wilderness before his ministry even began. The really crucial takeaway for us here is that feeling hidden, it isn't a delay, and it's definitely not a sign of failure. You are hidden on purpose. This silence is stretching your character to match your calling. It's making sure you don't just snap under the immense weight of what's coming. Moving right along to part three: the purpose of pain. Forging the warrior in the fire. Now, to truly get the wisdom of this framework, we really have to acknowledge a heavier reality. The source materials says something super powerful. Pain is a language heaven speaks fluently. It doesn't sugarcoat the experience at all. We all know pain comes uninvited, it's unrelenting, and a lot of times it's completely unexplainable. But the text insists that pain isn't just some random tragedy. Actually, it's life's most honest teacher. It shakes the foundation of absolutely everything fake, fragile, and temporary in your life, and leaves behind only what is real. The pain was permitted because something inside you refused to die, and that exact endurance, that is what makes you incredibly strong. So ultimately, you're faced with a choice in how you view your trauma. Are you going to be defined by your suffering, or are you going to be refined by it? The text really challenges us to abandon victimhood completely. It argues that you weren't crushed just to be thrown away. You were crushed to produce oil. You were crushed to prepare you for a platform that your old self couldn't possibly have handled.
By actually sitting with the pain and doing the hard work of healing from it, your scars turn into wisdom, discernment, and empathy. The pain didn't poison you guys, it purified you.
Okay, let's get into part 4, a public rise, the blossoming mountaintop. As we emerge from that dark cocoon of refinement we just talked about, the text makes a really specific, bold claim. It says, "The same crowd that watched you fall will witness you rise." It explains that this eventual restoration, it's not going to happen in private. There's actually a really strategic wisdom behind this public display. Your elevation happens in full view of the exact people who tried to destroy you, which leaves absolutely no room for doubt among those who counted you out. The doors are going to open so undeniably that even your harshest critics will literally have to admit it was divine intervention. But it begs the question, why make it so public? Well, the text draws a super clear distinction here regarding that public display. It pits revenge, which, let's be honest, is that deeply human desire to just prove yourself right and get even, against revelation, which is proving a divine promise. The text is adamant that this massive public elevation is absolutely not meant for petty vindication. It's not about rubbing it in the faces of the people who betrayed you, no way. Instead, it serves as undeniable evidence of restoration. It's a testimony to others that grace reaches deep and mercy lifts high. So your rise is meant to be a revelation, not revenge. Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Releasing Vengeance for Peace. Choosing freedom over the prison of bitterness. So how exactly do you handle the lingering anger of a really deep betrayal? The text describes revenge as taking control with your own hand. It's basically a poison that ultimately just harms you and keeps you chained up to the exact people who wounded you. I mean, wasting energy on payback just slows down your own progress, right? It contrasts this with true justice, where a higher power makes things right, and that is what actually heals. The ultimate wisdom here is that surrendering your grudges is literally the only way to secure genuine peace. You have to let go of the resentment behind you if you want to embrace the blessing that's waiting ahead of you. The final, incredibly powerful imperative of this whole framework is to choose faith over fury. The material promises that the victory coming your way isn't about payback. It's about redemption, it's about restoration, and it's about finding a peace that completely confuses your enemies. It's a profound challenge, really, to apply this wisdom to your own past hurts and to start viewing your scars as your greatest qualifications. Step boldly into your restored future and allow your peace to be your loudest victory. So, I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. What would happen to your life right now, today, if you truly released the fury and just trusted the process?
What lesson spoke to your heart today? Tell us in the comments and subscribe for daily Bible wisdom.